Are you ready to turn simple items into stunning seasonal decor that'll make your friends ask, "Hey, where'd you get that?" Hi, I'm Robin, and today I'm participating in the 5 Under 5 DIY Challenge, hosted by Missy over at Crafty Cove DIY, Emily at Farm Charm Chic, and this month's guest host is Fabi from Arrows DIY. For my first DIY, I took some foam board and using a mason jar lid as a template, I traced and cut out 2 circles. Then I stuck them together with some hot glue. I took some clothespins and I separated them by removing the springs. And then I started using more hot glue to glue them around the foam, making sure the bumpy side of the clothespins were facing outwards. You'll want approximately 3/4 of a clothespin bag for this project, but the size depends on how big you want your container to be. As I reached the end, I ran out of room to fit more clothespins, so I gently stretched the foam a bit to make space for the last one. And then I just ran my hand around to make sure everything was straight and even. Once that was done, I took some white paint and using a piece of sponge, painted the little barrel completely. After that, I grabbed some jute twine that I picked up from the Dollar Tree and wrapped a layer of it around both the top and the bottom of the barrel to give it that authentic barrel rung look. I felt like it was a tad too bright, so I decided to give the paint a bit of an aged appearance, and to do that, I applied some Waverly wax using a paintbrush. And I just made sure not to get any wax on the jute twine. Once that was done, I took a baby wipe and gently wiped off some of the wax. It worked like magic, giving it that awesome rustic vibe. After that, I took a big sunflower that I scored at a garage sale for just $0.25, and I secured it to the front of the barrel using some hot glue. Then I jazzed up an LED candle by applying napkin to the candle body with a bit of Mod Podge, and then using that same jute twine, I made a cute little bow for the front. And I attached it with more hot glue. I love how it turned out. It's perfect for adding that cozy fall flair to your space. And the best part, you can easily remove the candle and repurpose the container as a stylish vase for some autumn blooms. Versatile and chic, that's what we're talking about. For my next DIY, I picked up this vase at a garage sale for $2. Now normally I wouldn't spend that much, but this one had a really cool bottom that gave me major pumpkin vibes. So I coated it with vibrant orange Deco art paint. Then I took a sponge and applied French linen all over the long part of the vase to cover the pattern. If you know me, you know I love napkins, so I decided to take some of my napkin collection and decoupage them using Mod Podge right onto the long part of the vase. And I have this bird napkin and I think it's gorgeous. And I thought it might look good near some fall leaves just to give it more of a fall vibe. Now I didn't want any wrinkles, so I'm just smoothing out the napkin gently with my fingers and applying Mod Podge underneath the napkin to make sure it sticks. And once it did, and I had all of my napkin pieces on, I went over it again with more Mod Podge to seal it in. I didn't think there was enough orange in it, so I had this other napkin with some orange flowers, and I just took out a few of the orange flowers and placed them into different places. Then I took some garden stakes and I cut off all the tops and painted them white. And once they were dry, I used Waverly wax on top of the white. And then I used a baby wipe to wipe off most of the wax to give it a rustic look because I was making a little fence. And I just hot glued all of the little stakes to the bottom of the project, making sure that it looked like a fence and there was a little bit of a gap between where the vase was and where the fence was. So it was kind of like growing out of the fence. Once that was done, I took this burlap ribbon that I got at Dollar Tree and I placed some all along the bottom of the little fence. And I put some at the top as well. And I was really liking it. After that, I decided it needed a little extra touch, so I decided to add a jute twine bow to the top, and it totally completed the look. This project is totally awesome for fall decor. That's not only amazing, but it's super easy on the wallet and easy to make. Make your space look awesome without spending a ton. So for my next DIY adventure, I started off with a couple of sponges, but when I tried to cut them into a pumpkin shape, it just wasn't working out. So I decided to get creative. I stacked 2 sponges, cut them into a circle shape, and then I got this fabulous material from an old dress. I snipped it up and repurposed it as the perfect material for my pumpkin. I originally had cut off a large piece because I wanted this floral. It was so beautiful and it had sparkles in it. And once I decided how I wanted it to look on the front of my pumpkin, I simply put the fabric on my hand. Now you do have to be very careful that you don't burn yourself doing this. But I had it loosely on my hand, which was underneath. You could put a piece of cardboard in between your hand and the material so you don't burn yourself. And then you just place the sponge on top. Then I folded over the back of the material to completely cover the back of the sponge. And I just used hot glue to put it in place. After that, I had this little wooden log that was cut. I forget what you call it. Stump. And I just stuck that at the top, and then I made sure that all of the material was wrapped around it well with the hot glue. If you know what it's called, let me know in the comment section below. And then I added a little bit of faux greenery on top. And here's how it turned out. It's adorable, has that rustic charm, and it's the perfect addition to amp up my fall decor. Going to garage sales this summer really paid off because I got this cute little picture that I painted with French linen. Now I was craving some fall leaves, but I didn't have any, so I had this genius idea to paint my own. I used red, orange, and yellow paint. Yes, I know red and yellow make orange. but they were in different splatters on the leaves, so it went really well. Next, I took some thick floral wire and I cut it up and inserted some floral foam into the picture hole. Then I stuck the floral wire in and measured how long I wanted it. I decided that I was going to use hot glue to attach the leaves to the wire so they looked like they were falling down from a nearby tree and landing in the picture. But I needed to secure the wire in the little picture even more, so I added more floral foam on top. Once that was done, I just cut each one of my little leaves and making sure the stem was intact, and then I used hot glue to place each leaf onto the floral wire. As I was getting towards the top of the project, I decided to put a yellow leaf in there just to break up the color a little bit. And I had this little sweater pumpkin from Dollar Tree last year that I just added a little floral wire at the bottom and I stuck it in. I got this beautiful fabric from a random bag that I got at a garage sale, and I decided to put that all around the bottom of the picture. After that, I looked around for a sunflower and I found this really pretty neutral looking one that I decided to add inside the picture as well. And I just cut off the back, the little green part, and then I just stuck it in with some hot glue. So far, this is how it's shaping up, but I felt like it needed that extra little something. That's when I remembered I had this cute orange, yellow, and red shrubbery, and it was just begging to be part of the action. I placed it right in the middle of the flower and the pumpkin, and it tied everything together. This fun fall DIY is basically screaming fall, with those leaves gently cascading down and finding their cozy spot in the picture. It instantly adds the warm and inviting touch to your home, making you feel all the autumn vibes. For my next DIY, I grabbed a pair of jeans and I snipped off one leg. Then I took a wooden circle from an old sign and traced around it using a marker. And after cutting out the pattern, I busted out my sewing skills and stitched around the edges, leaving a gap to stuff something inside. I thought it needed a little extra sewing, so I went ahead and took out some of the stuffing, closed the gap more securely, and then I added extra stuffing because I was aiming for that perfect pumpkin shape. To get it just right, I even used a paintbrush to nudge the stuffing around on the inside. I did this project on a live stream and I had some helpers, including Kelly from Crafting and Coffee with Kelly, who suggested that I use this toilet paper roll to make a stem. So I just twisted the top of it, added some twine, and once that was done, I cut off a little bit of the bottom of it because I thought it was sticking out a bit too much. Next, I wanted to add something pretty on it, and I had this beautiful lace that used to be a curtain. So I just trimmed it, and then I decided which way that I would be putting it on. I had this nautical rope and I wanted to use that as the grooves of the pumpkin. So I just thinned it out a little bit, and then using hot glue, I wrapped it all up and down the sides of the pumpkin just to give it those pumpkin grooves. It's groovy, man! After that, I decided to add a little leaf at the top. But I thought it needed that special touch, and guess what? I had another orange sunflower just waiting to shine. It was the perfect complement to the blue and white, so I decided to add it on. I also had this little white butterfly sticker that I thought I would add on as well, and just using hot glue, I placed it on one side of the flower. And here's how it looks so far, but it's not done yet. Another one of my friends, Dustin M, suggested I make it into a purse. To see more of the Pum-Purse, click on the next video.